We need to be able to release the economic pressure that is sitting on middle-class families. That is my standard, and that is the only thing that I will accept in all this.
More cuts are likely coming to the state budget as revenues dwindle and leadership braces for economic downturns. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost was at the State House today and spoke with the governor and Senate president as budget negotiations continue.
From blueprint spending to tax hikes proposals, there are a lot of moving parts in Annapolis right now as people wait to see what happens in Washington when it comes to the continuing resolution. But one thing is clear, more taxes are likely, and leadership here in the State House is looking to place blame on the White House.
Revenues are sluggish in Maryland as lawmakers search for solutions to the budget crisis. Tuesday,
we're going to have to make some very difficult choices.
Senate President Bill Ferguson not shying away from offering a bleak outlook. As fiscal decisions are made, House Democrats restoring funding for the blueprint for Maryland's future. That's the multi-billion-dollar, decades-long education spending plan that's been at the center of controversy in Annapolis for years. Governor Wes Moore calling for changes as state revenues run red, including funding freezes.
What's the Senate planning to do with the blueprint funding?
Yeah, I mean, look, we are taking a deep look. We are, stuff like the news today about what's coming. We have to brace for a Maryland recession. That is the news that we are receiving.
Senator Ferguson says education is a priority, but funding needs to be predictable, which is a challenge given the uncertainty in Washington. While keeping the boost for poorer schools is important.
But I do think that there are operational components around the teacher collaborative, around pre-kindergarten expansion that we can still pursue.
Some options floated include tax on sugary drinks and salty snacks, property tax increases, and a business-to-business tax. It's not just the House looking to restore funding for the blueprint, though.
Ask for state action, fully fund the blueprint for Maryland's future.
Baltimore City Council unanimously passing a resolution Monday night urging lawmakers to fully fund the education plan.
I appreciate the efforts of a non-binding resolution from the Baltimore City Council that has no legal impact. And I would encourage the City Council to focus in on the things that they have control over, like the DPW worker who tragically lost his life, that they have full control over.
The governor's original budget proposal called for $2 billion in cuts. Now, Senator Ferguson says lawmakers are looking to slash $400 to $500 million more dollars.
We are cutting over $2.5 billion of the state budget, and we're at a point now where, in order to protect core functions of the social safety net in the face of what the Trump administration is doing, we have to find a way to fairly levy revenues that will sustain our economy.
You're talking about warning people to brace for a Maryland recession. If that's the case, why put more taxes on the table for Marylanders when they're already feeling a pinch?
I mean, look, because we know that when there are recessions, people come to the public sectors for support.
A new Moody's report shows Maryland faces the greatest risk in the country from federal job cuts. As Senator Ferguson says, state resources are necessary to bolster programs like unemployment and Medicaid in anticipation of greater need.
But what do you say to people who won't be needing the federal or the state assistance for these programs, but they still will feel the impact of these tax increases while prices are going up and their energy bills are going up?
Well, first and foremost, I'd point them to the White House and ask why we're adding 50% tariffs on Canada and Mexico to increase prices across the board. My understanding was that the administration was going to be focused on lowering prices. In fact, what we're seeing is the stock market going into the tank. We're seeing prices of goods across the country increasing. So that's where I would start.
As the conversations continue, the question remains, will the governor sign the plans that raise more taxes on Marylanders?
Hello, Governor. How are you? You too.
Tuesday, we caught up with him to find out.
Do you believe that what the ideas are being floated in the House are out of touch with what Marylanders need to see from their lawmakers right now?
I've been very clear about what I want to see from the package. We need to be able to give middle-class families a tax cut. We need to be able to release the economic pressure that is sitting on middle-class families. That is my standard, and that is the only thing that I will accept in all this.
If the plans reach your desk in its current form, whether it's the blueprint or all of these tax increases, would you sign it?
I've been clear with the legislature. I know they are going through their process. The legislative process is an important process, and I will work with the legislature. But I am very clear about what I want to see hit my desk by the end of session.
Not a ringing endorsement from Governor Moore, but a budget plan with no tax increases is not likely. It's just a matter of how much more will Marylanders have to pay.
The Senate president tells me he's confident there will be a compromise when it comes to the blueprint and the budget. But remember, lawmakers are constitutionally required to pass a balanced budget by the end of this session. And what happens in Washington later this week could determine whether lawmakers return to the State House later this year for a special session. In the State House, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Hey, I'm Mackenzie Frost. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Check out Fox Baltimore on all of our social media pages for more videos just like this.